Good afternoon, compatriots on social media and all our esteemed global partners. The U.S. Embassy in Nigeria recently confirmed that it has imposed visa restrictions on some Nigerian politicians. Let's be clear. The U.S. does not act lightly or arbitrarily on issues of its foreign policy concern. U.S. government actions are usually painstakingly considered, well-defined, precise, and based on the rule of law. The law recently invoked by the U.S. against the Nigerian politicians is the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Act. The law was formerly known as the Russia and Moldova Jackson-Vanik Repeal and Sergei Magnitsky Rule of Law Accountability Act of 2012. In December 2016, the U.S. Congress passed the bipartisan bill, which was signed into law by the U.S. President. The 2016 law is a global version of the Magnitsky Act to address human rights abuses throughout the world. Since 2016, the law, which applied globally, authorizes the U.S. government to sanction those who it sees as human rights offenders, especially corrupt government officials, freezing their assets and banning them from entering the U.S. Most recently, the U.S. invoked the law against 18 persons fingered in the assassination of the Saudi Arabian diplomat Jamal Khashoggi. Of pertinent electoral interest to Nigeria might be Roberto J. Rivers. He was the head of the Supreme Electoral Council of Nicaragua. Accused of massive electoral fraud, Roberto J. Rivers was indicted under the Magnitsky Act. In the statement issued by the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria, we were told that the United States is a steadfast supporter of Nigeria's democracy. While commending all Nigerians who participated peacefully in the February and March 2019 elections, it is important to note that the U.S. is following through with special concern on the International Election Observer Report 2019. The U.S. is also keenly observing the Election Tribunal and Supreme Court resolutions of questionable electoral victories declared by INEC. Consequently, the recent U.S. visa sanctioning of Nigerian politicians is a result of the U.S. incontrovertible confirmation that those sanctioned individuals operated with impunity during the last elections at the expense of the Nigerian people by undermining democratic principles and human rights. This decision reflects the U.S. Department of State's commitment to end corruption and strengthen democracy, accountability, and the respect for human rights in Nigeria. From the list, it is easy to discern that the offending states so far identified by the U.S. government were Osun, Kano, Kaduna, Kogi, and Rivers states. All these states where democratic processes were badly truncated in the 2019 elections. Nigeria's democracy was badly fractured through serious corrupted INEC electoral processes, judicial, meaning Election Tribunal and Supreme Court malfeasance, and probably a flagrant disregard for the sanctity of life as well. We should like to encourage the Nigerian public that this U.S. government announced sanctions against specific individuals who have impugned Nigeria's democracy with absolute disdain is merely an initial warning shot. It is a signal ahead of impending major clampdown against possible miscarriage of justice concerning the Presidential Election Tribunal and/or the Supreme Court 2019 presidential verdict. Also, the invocation of the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Act against Nigerians opens the door for a wider application of the Act against all forms of human rights abuses in Nigeria. These include those human rights abuses perpetrated especially by the Buhari administration, its military and security apparatus, as well as his jihadist Fulani ethnic nationalities of Boko Haram, herdsmen, and bandits. These human rights abuses are notably those against Zakzaki and the Shiite Muslims, Dasuki and other political prisoners retained in government custody in defiance of court orders, hundreds of thousands of martyred Christians across the country, as well as Nigeria's indigenous ethnic nationalities who are being subjected daily to genocide and ethnic cleansing. In conclusion, we say congratulations to all Nigerians, especially the common man. Thank you.